being a Green Beret, you're going to be working with other guys that want the hard missions. They want the difficult environment. They don't want to just serve, but they want to do whatever it takes to make a defining difference in the places that they are. I mean, it changed my life, definitely. I was overwhelmed by this like guilt and, you know, this need to like earn my Americanism, I guess. So that's why I joined the Army.
And here he is, the man himself, Mr. Nate Boyer. First of all, Nate, I want to say thank you for your service on this Veterans Day. When this day comes around each year, what goes through your mind? What do you think about when you think about your days in the service?
First of all, you and everybody else was worth it in this country. So almost everybody. No, so I appreciate that. We all appreciate that. I think I speak for most veterans, you know, when I say that on Veterans Day, what's cool about us reflecting on that is just remembering why we served and, you know, all the people that are worth defending. And then for me in this era, being so fortunate to live in a time where through everything going on in our country, you know, the respect for the veteran community is pretty strong, and for, you know, people that go and risk their lives. And it wasn't always like that. So I'm very grateful for that. And, you know, for the people that didn't get the same type of reception as me, you know, welcome home and thank them especially for their service.
I know you got a lot of coin tosses going on this weekend. What have you been up to lately? And over the next, tell us what you're doing over the next 24 hours as well.
Yeah, so I'm actually heading back out to Los Angeles tomorrow, and I'm going to do this coin toss at the Rams game in LA. But we got 50. They gave us 50 tickets for MVP. That's my nonprofit I started with Jay Glazer. Stands for Merging Vets and Players, and so we're bringing former athletes and combat veterans together to help them find purpose and service again once the uniform comes off. And so we're all going to the game together, and it'll be pretty special, man. So it's fun.
Yeah, so this merging thing, I've always had this question. People like to make analogies between being in the military and being on a football team. So what part of those analogies are accurate, and what's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, the major difference is, I guess, what's at stake, and obviously it's a different kind. It's a service to country, and what you're sacrificing is very different versus playing a game. However, the camaraderie and the brotherhood and the locker room and the fact that you do have to sacrifice in a different way so much to be elite on the football field, to make it at that level, that is very similar. And once it's over, I think for a lot of guys and women as well, it's like your identity feels like it's gone, and you feel like you may never do anything as important as you did before, and you've had this, you've had the man on your right and left, just like in service to country, and now it's like trying to find that purpose and who you are again. And a lot of times you're in your 20s or 30s, and it's like you got a lot of life left, you know, and you feel like I've peaked. Yeah. What now? So I guess helping all of these war fighters and also these athletes remember who they are, and that they're the person that got to that point. Like, their identity is not you're just a former athlete or a veteran. You are the person that sacrificed so much, gave everything you had to get to that level. So you still have that in you. You know, why not apply that to something else in your life moving forward? And I think that's what we're really trying to accomplish, because we're capable, you know, we're very capable people in both those groups.
We are.
Yeah, it's true.
Nate, talking about accomplishing things, a lot of people don't know you were actually the person that met with Colin Kaepernick, now talking about the pro perspective, and asked him to kneel instead of sit, because early on he started sitting down. Did you ever know that this issue would become so large scale, that it would impact so many people, and that you would really be thrust into the forefront of that conversation?
No, no. I mean, you know, I wrote that letter initially just because I wanted people to understand my personal feelings about that. I never want to say I speak for the entire veteran community, because I don't. And there's a lot of people that still are very hurt and disagree with kneeling, and they have the right to feel that way, especially, you know, when you serve your country. That relationship with the flag and the anthem, it's a little bit different. However, you know, I just wanted him to understand and maybe think about it from another perspective before he continued to demonstrate, because I think what he was demonstrating about was an honorable thing, and it was something that I think a lot of police officers would agree as well. When done correctly and respectfully, you know, they want to be the best that they can be at their jobs. They want to. Most of them are great people, and it's a really difficult job, but they see that you know, it's not perfect. I mean, there's a lot of people in the military that I served with, and there's a lot of things that we do that we can improve on. We can always get better. So I just wanted him to take that into account, Colin, I mean, when, before demonstrating. So that's where that letter came from, and the fact that he reached out and we sat together and just had a conversation, even though we were kind of on different sides of the issue, different opinions, was a powerful thing. And I think most of the country responded to that. Well, all the country responded to that. Some of them negatively, but yeah, I mean, it's at least that we can talk about these things, that we live in a place where, you can demonstrate and peacefully protest, and it should be allowed. It doesn't have to be liked, but it should be. I think that stuff should be allowed. It's important.
Yeah.
You doing that shows a lot of courage and leadership, because a lot of folks wasn't going to agree with what you did. Speaking of leadership, I believe I heard you say something about Sam Ehlinger having more leadership than you had when you was here. What did you mean by that bold statement?
I just mean, that guy. First of all, as a quarterback, it's a different position. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of positions in sports where you really are, part kind of coach, you're part, they call it the general out there, or the colonel or whatever you want to call it. You are that leader, and for him, what he's had to overcome in his personal life, and some of the stuff like, with his family, and he's 18, 19 years old, and he's out here leading the team, and to hear other players on the team, the way that they talk about him and the messages they send him, and they kind of rally around him as that leader, as a freshman, that's tough, because I can imagine as a starting quarterback as a freshman that you're going to feel like you have to say certain things and you have to be a certain type of guy. And I think he just kind of organically is that. And I don't think he ever pushed, as far as being a leader. You can always tell in a locker room when someone's saying something they feel like they have to, not because they're really moved to. And you don't really respond necessarily to the words. It's the actions and the person that really you want to follow. And I don't know, it's just being around his presence. I just feel that. I'm like, man, this kid he's got it. It took me a long time to learn that. So I think that's kind of what I was really pointing at in that.
There you go.
That's strong words coming from you. We want to thank you for being a great leader and for serving our country as well, Nate. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys very much.
Nate.
God bless America. And hook 'em.